Yeah, the press secretary's job. They handle the press briefings, the press meetings every day. It's a really stressful job because you know you're going to get asked about this, this, and this. So you go to the president and say, okay, tell me what I need to know about this, this, and this. And the president doesn't tell him everything. Why does the president not tell him everything?
National security.
Well, okay, but also if they don't know, they can't say too much. So they just, kind of like what I do with little Christy. I never tell her about stuff going on because that way she's not ever in the middle of it. You know, and then she gets mad when she finds out I knew something, but she didn't. And I'm like, look, I just didn't, you know. But that's a really frustrating job. You're taking all the bullets, you know. And these people will stay there for probably like a year or two, and then they resign and go because it's so stressful. And they go into some network job where they can talk for like 15 minutes a day and then go play golf and make money, you know. So, anywho. Press secretary.
President, Chief of Staff.
Did we do that one? Oh, wow, we did that one. Chief of Staff. President wakes up. President doesn't sleep in. There's always crap to do. So let's say about 6 in the morning, the president gets up, he walks out, he's putting his tie on. The chief of staff is waiting there with pieces of paper or an iPad or something. And as they walk down the hall, he's fixing his tie. The chief of staff says, "Okay, Mr. President, this morning we're going to meet with such and such. We're going to talk about such and such." That's where the chief of staff is in charge of the schedule and the itinerary, kind of like the president's manager.
The target thing wasn't working. So
Okay. You talked to him enough to get it. Okay. All right, you go.
Yeah, I just showed up late, so I went back on.
You know what an itinerary is? It's a schedule. I learned it in football in college because coach would give us a piece of paper on Friday explaining what the schedule was for the weekend, and I saw the word itinerary, so I put 2 and 2 together. So I learned what an itinerary is. Is that a pretty stressful job? You're basically trying to make sure the president's day goes pretty smooth. You're kind of in charge of that. God, if I was president, who would be my chief? I would put Guy as my chief of staff. You think so, Pace?
You don't think you forget?
No, he's a business. He gets things done.
True.
He is a businessman. He runs Sport City Toyota, which is not Sport City Toyota anymore. So if y'all need a car, if you go tell him, Coach Ryle sent me here, he won't rip you off as bad as he'll rip off the next person. He's really good at what he does. He doesn't rip people off. He told me about this deal. Somebody showed up to get a Kia Protege, which is a little pansy weird car. It's not expensive. It's not fancy. It's not nothing. It was like a $17,000 car. This is a long time ago. This couple had horrible credit, and he offered one deal, and I think it was, I don't know what it was. It was like $700 over 5 years. Plus, and they said, "Oh, we can't do that." And then he eventually got it to where it was like $450 for 8 years. And all they saw was the $450. We can afford that much a month. And it ended up being a $36,000 car. They ended up paying $36,000 on this car. And I was like, "Gary, how could you do that to those people?" He goes, "Ryle, I didn't do anything to them. I put an offer on the desk and they accepted it." I said, "You're right, that's on them." So he doesn't rip people off. He just says, "Hey, here, you want to do this?" And they go, "Yes, I do." And they sign their name. He's really good at it. But he won't rip you off if you go in. It's a long ways off. It is a long way, but they do stuff on the computer now. So anyway, if you're interested, I can hook you up. And he's good at that stuff. He is a good businessman because he's kind of dishonest, but not really. Not really. All right.
So water could drown in man.
He could. He really could. He thinks he wants to be a coach. He doesn't want to be a coach. He wants to call plays. He thinks coaching is calling plays. That's why he wants to retire someday and be a coach. Like, you don't want to be a coach because you're not sticking your hands in the dirty laundry. You're not being up here all night. You're not doing this. He thinks it's just calling plays, which most people do think coaching is calling plays. That has very little to do. National Security Council. What do you think the National Security Council's job is?
Security.
Keep the country as safe as possible. That's their job. This is another one. I'm glad you're sitting down because this might be hard to follow here. The National Security Council has the National Security Advisor on it. I need to slow down. The National Security Advisor is on the National Security Council. This is a tough job. 3 in the morning, your phone rings. It's the president saying, look, our embassy in Bangladesh just got bombed. What's going on? Who did it? What do we need to do? And the National Security Advisor needs to have an answer. They're supposed to know and understand all the threats that face the United States. So anything that happens, the president asks them what's going on, they have to have an answer. Here's what we're thinking, here's what it is, here's what's going on over there. And also maybe have an idea about how to handle it. How to go about fixing it.
What was that last one say?
Threats. Any threat around the nation, around the world. Also, the Defense Secretary, or CO, what is that? Have y'all done any papers on, hey, what's up? Have y'all done any papers on like Alzheimer's or something? Anybody, if you ever do, let me know. I think I'm in the early stages because my brain is starting to freak out. I can't do things. Let me know. If you recognize it, just go try it. What? That kind of quit. Oh, it was coming back.
Yeah.
But there was a couple days this week. It was like hurting right here. Now I know that's the anything. Right side I'm fine with. Left side's when I'm kind of okay. Here we go. This is kind of working.
Did it start working?
Oh, it's not. Oh, okay, never mind. Don't just worry about me. Never mind. The Secretary of State. If I ever do dropping class, don't freak out. Don't go way out of your way. If you're going that way anyway, I'm great. Now that I talked about it, it's silly, Ryle. Where you go? Just let them know Ryle's down. You know, don't freak out. And I've had a long life. Everything's good. Y'all don't mess y'all up. I hope I don't hit my head. You know, bounce the head off the tile. That wouldn't be. Wouldn't be a Yes, Coach Ryle. This is the field. You know, I don't know. Those are the people on the National Security Council. Maybe the Vice President. Sometimes the President picks a Vice President just to get them elected. You'll pick someone to get people fired up and bring in votes, and then once you're elected, you tell them to go in the corner and don't bother me. That's the greatest gig, when the President doesn't want you around and you're the Vice President. All you got to do is bang the gavel at the Senate in the mornings, and then you go play golf, and nobody's usually trying to kill the Vice President. You have to wear a tie sometimes. But the worst would be the Vice President, where the President really wants some help. So, bless you, you fix to go play golf, and the phone rings. I need you in the way down. Oh, you know. You
Call me after 18.
Yeah. Okay. So, phone working. And, right. And, you know, and hang out. Okay. Oh, here's 2 more. These 2 more. We got to slow down because I think your brain is going to get it. It's going to blow up on this. The Council of Economic Advisors. What do you think they deal with and talk about?
Economic.
How they try to come up with ways to strengthen
The economy.
and improve the economy. In football, you can run the option where you read somebody and you might give it and might keep it, and you run and pitch it. You can do that. You can spread the thing out and you can throw the ball. You can line up tight, get an I formation, and just run over people. There's all kinds of ways to try to score touchdowns. There's all kinds of ways to strengthen and improve the economy. Let's say you opened up a business in March of 2020, and you had a perfect business plan. the demand was there, you were ready to go, and then what happens? Yeah. You might go out of business. And it's not because you had a bad idea or did something wrong, it's just stuff happened. If you opened up a business on September 10th, 2001, could that be a bad time to start it? Yeah, and it's not your fault. Just things happen sometimes. Sometimes these ideas you have to strengthen or improve the economy, it's not that they don't work, it's just all this crap started happening and nothing would have worked there, you know? What they're having to decide now is, by the way, I didn't tell y'all, America has done it again. We are awesome. We have found what we can do. The debt is now over $27 trillion. Way to go, government. Way to go, United States. Come on, give it to them. You know, we can't do much, but we can sure spend money we ain't got. That's awesome. The government's having to decide how much are we going to support, how much are we going to create, how much money are we going to create to give to people to keep the economy going. You know, it's kind of like, all right, if I'm ever on some food thing or air thing and I can't live, you know what I'm saying? Don't do that. Y'all got witnesses? All right? Maybe if I could get up and run, and if I can squat again, maybe for a while, go ahead. But if I can't squat again, don't. Just, go with that. We're really having to decide, are we going to keep feeding or pull the plug? You know what I'm saying? And I don't know which is good, which is bad. Anyway.
If someone has to feed me and take me to the bathroom, I pull the plug and get out.
I came home from the hospital when my dad was still, he was in the middle of dying, I guess. Stayed there for a while and came back, and that next day I told the boys, I said, you will never have to make the decision, do I help wipe or do I call the nurse? I promise that. Y'all will never have to do that. Godzilla. I called the nurse. Let's see. All right, cabinet. You know what? I'll do it for you. The cabinet. Y'all ever heard of the cabinet before?
Yeah.
If you haven't, you will.
What's that like a big
It sometimes gets to be a big idea, a big ordeal. The president, federal court,
That's just all the secretaries, right?
yes, Secretary of Defense, Secretary of State. I was going to show you, there's 15 cabinet level departments. The cabinet is made up of all the department heads, the departments in the executive branch. The leaders are called the secretaries. Give me a second here, I'm not prepared. That's weird, but I'm not prepared. Last resort, I go to the computer. Anything funny going on?
No, they had a story to tell.
Oh yeah, Color.
Taylor already told you.
Yeah, I want to hear from you.
You want to hear from me?
Yeah.
Oh, we're just going down the road about to pull into school, and Emily looks down and realizes she has two different shoes. So then turn all the way around and go back to her house to get the right shoe.
Now, I was told she was trying to decide something.
Yeah, she forgot to ask me what should I like better. Walked out with two different shoes.
And I made a comment after that. Color, can you believe that? I made a comment.
What was the comment?
I said, this young lady is in class, such a confident and impressive young lady. And then she goes and does something like, I ask her, what is Color on me? What she, I'm like, it's so weird.
I don't know why she asked me.
This is so weird.
I usually just go with the same shoe every time.
Yeah, I have shoes I wear when if it's gonna get muddy, I gotta wear these shoes. If it's not, I'm wearing these shoes. That's really the only decision I have. I do have boots. I got boots. I don't wear them because they're like 5 years old and they're really uncomfortable. So I just wear them to church. I don't wear them to school, or else I would, because I'm a man. This just I don't want you to memorize these. I just want you to see. We got the Secretary of Agriculture. You got the Attorney General, Secretary of Commerce, Secretary of Defense, Secretary of Education, Secretary of Energy, EPA, Environmental Protection. All the things you see Secretary, that's the cabinet. This person's not in the cabinet, but they're in charge of the EPA. Homeland Security is the newest one. Homeland Security was established like in 2002, and its job is to take all the information from the CIA, the FBI, the military, and put it all together and try to figure everything out. So we didn't have that before September 11th. But the cabinet is the 15 department heads, the secretaries. There's 15 of them. And they're the president's advisors. They're the president's, it's like the coaching staff. That's the coaching staff. President's head coach says, here's what we want to do, and they go out and they have their little positions and they handle their stuff. Right. When the president picks a cabinet member, let's say Attorney General. The Attorney General is in charge of the Justice Department. The Attorney General is in charge of prosecuting federal cases. If I'm the president and I'm picking an Attorney General, I pick this person and then they go before the Senate. The Senate checks them out, makes sure they're okay. Let's say I pick my best friend Lane. He's out there. His brother's a district attorney, so I'm going to pick Lane to be the Attorney General. First thing they're going to look at is, how do I word this? Let's just say training. Training, education. Lane has a degree in history and education from Austin College. He has a master's degree in art. I like that face. Yes. Lane is a hippie. Lane is the most contradictory person I've ever met in my entire life. He was coaching at Washita Baptist, coaching basketball at Washita Baptist, while getting his master's in art degree across the street at Henderson State. And he called me one day and said, Ryle, I almost messed up. So I had this, I walked up to my table and all my study pals were there, and I almost asked them if anybody had the sports page. The two worlds almost collided. It would have been bad. They would not have understood a thing about me wanting to see the sports page, and the coaches I work with would not understand my art projects. So he's a great guy, intelligent, smart. Never did a day of law school. So that'd be the first question. Did you go to law school? And his answer is no. So he can't be Attorney General. So they're going to look at, does your training and education, does that give you what you need to handle this job? So the first thing you would need is a law degree. Right? If you're going to be Attorney General, you need a law degree. Then we're going to look at your experience. Have you actually practiced law? Have you handled stuff in a courtroom? Have you been a judge? Maybe, maybe not. You don't need to be a judge, but you at least need some law experience. Does that make sense? Now, the Attorney General, you might be a great lawyer. You're going to have hundreds of people working under you. You're going to have to manage hundreds, in the Defense Department's, millions of people under you. Can everybody do that? No. That's completely different. So can you handle the office? What I mean by that is, can you run the department? Now this is just Attorney General, but do you see what I'm talking about here? You got to see, can this person actually do this job? Do they have the training? Do they have the experience? And then can they do the job part of it, the management part, running the show part? All right, federal bureaucracy. This is hard to explain, so I'm gonna show you a picture. That's a fancy one. All right, this right here. Sometimes grandma might call that a bureau. You ever heard some old person call something like that a bureau? Right.
I've heard it called a cabinet.
Cabinet. All right. A bureau is something, dresser. A bureau is something with all kinds of compartments and drawers. So a bureaucracy means in our government, there's all these offices and agencies, and you go here and they say, okay, that's fine, but you need to go get this paper from this office. So you go over here and they say, well, that's fine, but you need to go talk to them in this office. It's all the runaround you get from all the different offices. Does that kind of make sense? You ever heard of red tape? Like you got to cut through the red tape. I don't know how that got started. That's what they're talking about. The federal bureaucracy is just all the different offices and agencies. I had to get my driver's license this summer. I have a CDL, so it's a little bit more than, I can't do it on the computer. I have to go get it. And I show up, and I get in line. I showed up at 6:30. I think it opens at 7. No? 8. I showed up at 6:30, and I was the first in line. And I'm just there. And I go to talk to the lady, and I looked on the computer first to see what all I needed. And they said a birth certificate, mate, possibly a birth certificate. I said, I've got my old license. I don't need a birth certificate. So I show up, and the lady, you have your birth certificate? I was like, no, I don't. We have to have one. So I get home, and I'm all mad and frustrated. I was born in Tarrant County, so Christy calls Tarrant County. I thought they needed like an official. Y'all ever play baseball or softball or basketball, and you had to have a birth certificate to prove how old you are? One time you needed an official one, like not from Wise County. You had to go. We had one from Austin. We had to get one from Austin so you could play baseball. So I'm thinking at least for a driver's license, I might have to get one from Austin. So I'm just freaking out. I'm all mad. They said, no, just a regular. So get a driver's license to play baseball, like 12-year-old baseball. You gotta have this official document stamped from Austin to get a driver's license. Just some piece of paper from somebody wrote on it. We go to get the birth certificate at the courthouse in Tarrant County. You know what you need to get a birth certificate? Driver's license. Doesn't that seem? How stupid is that? I need this to get this, I need this to get this. That's an example of bureaucracy. You show up and you need to go to this office to get this thing and this office. That's the bureaucracy. I don't have to like that. Does that make sense? Just all the hoops you gotta jump through and the forms you gotta fill out and all that kind of stuff. I lost my Social Security card in 1998. And that was before September 11th, and I haven't gotten one since. I have a feeling that's really hard to get now, especially after September 11th. So I know my number, and I got that down.
I had to get mine, and it only took like 2 hours.
Really?
Waiting, and then he talked to you, wrote your stuff down, and you left, and then mailed you one.
They were all thinking that my birth certificate, because I'm adopted. Oh, maybe we could find. They don't have that, because when you're adopted, they make you a birth certificate and put your people's names who's adopting you. So we didn't get to see who. Y'all didn't get to see who they are. Huh? No, we haven't seen them before. No, we saw my ex-wife's parents in Target in McKinney one time. That's why I was like, go get up, come on, go. So I figured they're gonna drop it. Okay. Civil service. After what?
Oh no, that was the other. Never mind, that was another lady.
What was that?
Coach Rock, pimping.
What lady? Oh.
The one that you were on a date while you asked mom.
Yeah.
I thought you were saying her parents, and I was like, well, yeah.
No, they like me. They do like me a lot. They really like me a
I'm
lot.
saying mine.
Yeah, we took Holt to see her, the girl. Or actually, she saw him. I told y'all that? I asked this girl out before I asked little Christy out. But she lived in another town, so it's gonna be like 3 weeks before we go out. So I didn't, Christy thinks I two-timed her. I really two-timed Shelly. So I asked her out first. And so I go out with Shelly. She was my boss's daughter, the superintendent's daughter. He kept calling me, saying, "Hey, have you gone out with my daughter yet?" I'm like, no. So I'm like nervous. This guy, he keeps hounding me. "Are you going to go out with my daughter yet?" No. He had all girls. I think he really wanted a boy. And I was like, the boy he wanted, I don't know. And then, anyway, I broke up with her. And said, I really like this other girl. So I was really scared because I thought I'd get fired. And then we went back. When you give your first kid, you always think everybody wants to see them. They don't, by the way, but you think everybody does. So we took Colt over to Gunner to show everybody, and Shelly was there. Her mom was the elementary principal, and she was there doing something. And she had lost a ton of weight. In high school, she was really big, and then she lost a ton of weight. Well, she gained it back, and then some. And we go back and say, her and Christy talk, because they knew each other from college. They went to college, Grayson together. And anyway, go sit in the car, and little Christy's going. I said, "What?" She goes, "I guess you picked the right one." Anyway, civil service. You see Mama doing that, huh? Civil service is like government jobs. Civil service means you've got a government job, a post office job. Maybe you work in a government office. No, we work for the government, but not the federal government. All right, those are good jobs because it's really stable, okay? And because the government's not going to go out of business, and they usually don't cut programs, and you have great benefits. Your medical, your maybe like pension stuff is really good. But if you can get a civil service job, you do have to take a test. I don't know what that test is before you get hired.
Is it like that mailman test?
Yeah.
Gotta be able to fight off a dog or something.
I don't know. I knew a couple that were they were the custodians at the elementary school in Van Alstyne, and they good people, but they were not going to be professors at MIT. Okay, they weren't gonna split atoms. Okay, nothing wrong with that. Come to school one day and said, "Well, we quit." I said, "You did?" I said, "Yep, we're going to work the post office." I said, "That's awesome. That is a great job. I'm proud of you. When do y'all start?" I said, "Well, we take the test today." And I went, they'd already quit. And they didn't pass the test. So I don't know what happened. But anyway, that's a good one. Don't quit the job before you get the next one.
You get another job.
Yeah. Don't quit the job hoping that you'll get it. Although I did, in Hempstead, I did not turn in my contract because I knew I wasn't coming back. So that's technically quit.
I'm gonna give you 2 weeks. Third.
All right, out of all those,
Why do they send 2 weeks notice? Like, what's the
it's just like courtesy, so they can go ahead and fill your spot or start looking for you, so you don't just walk off and they can't get something done or something gets, you know what I mean?
Once I'm done, I'm done. I ain't
Yeah.
working another 2 weeks.
If it's like a 2 weeks notice, you're still looking for a job.
Yeah.
It's just like a time space that you get to look for a job and
They
they
get
get
to
to
someone
Well, if I got a different job.
I didn't show you all these things, but I'm going to tell you what my personal belief. There's 15 cabinet positions. I've always thought Secretary of State or the State Department and the Defense Department were the two year in, year out, not most important, but maybe the most vital departments. Sometimes something else might pop up and this department might be a big deal for a while, but year in, year out, the way we're dealing with other countries, the way we deal with international crisis, and the Defense Department is tied in with that, right? The State Department has to do their job first. You gotta let us try to talk first before we just start blowing crap up.
Is that country?
Yeah,
Okay.
I miss, if I slow down, I'm okay. What's that? That's close, isn't it?
I'm sorry.
You know what I'm saying? Is that close?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I usually get the right letters, just not in the right order.
They were just running together and I just couldn't
I
make
get it
out the
right.
last
I
four
get it right.
letters.
I used to write, when it was chalk, I could write way better. But you need the Defense Department to be ready to go if this doesn't work. And the State Department, the Defense Department has to allow the State Department to do their job. When they can't, the State Department needs to let the Defense Department do their job. These two groups don't have to love each other, but they have to respect each other enough to let each other do their job. That makes sense. And last, look up on your phone. How many people work in the Defense Department?
There's 780.
Way more.
1,500.
How many people work for the Defense Department? Remember, you're including all the military in there.
1.3 million.
Is that, what was it?
It says active duty.
Okay, but let's see, does anybody find a different number that actually work for the Defense Department? That's active military personnel.
Okay, one.
There should be like a lot more. I said like. Should be like more like, dude, like.
3.4 mil.
I was thinking somewhere between 2 to 3 million. Anybody seeing something like that? I'm waiting. Got the signal from Taylor.
It says, okay, so it says that there's 450,000 stationed overseas, and there's 3 million Americans who receive income from the Department of Defense.
Okay. So let's say anywhere from 2 to 3 million people work for the Department of Defense. Because there are a lot of people that are retired that are receiving money, and I don't necessarily, if you're the reserves, yes. But if you're the Secretary of Defense, you really kind of have to be able to manage that many employees. That's a big deal. You don't always have interaction with all them. All right, good enough. Way to go. I think I'm gonna make you laugh.
Really?
I'll probably won't buy that car anymore. Much more came over.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that little thing that everyone's in and no one's really in. Yeah, I already told about that. Good, we're stuff that everyone's supposed to in, no one's in. Yeah, they said everyone's in it, and they're looking while we're all talking about it.
I'll probably have one of those.
And put into
Start off to not really sure.
So no, don't say that.
Okay. This is one of my favorite
I said that too.
funny things
Everything
ever.
that I mean is we do all.
It's What Up With That! Christmas Spectacular!
Anybody seen this
With
before?
legendary actor Samuel L. Jackson! Musician and actress Carrie Brownstein! And the irrepressible Lindsey Buckingham! Now here's your host, Beyonce Cole! I woke up this morning and I got out of bed. Had a big old cup of coffee to clear my head. Telephone ring and you wanna chat. Well, sit on down and tell me what's up with that. What's up with that? What's up
If
with
they're
that?
starting interviewing people, in the middle of it, you just.
am so excited. We are here to make a joyful noise because of BET. It's going to be a celebration. We're going to drink libations. It's going to be a revelation, jubilation. It's going to be a holiday. Dolly, it's Dolly, Dolly, What's up with that? What's up with that? What's up with that? What's up with that? What's up? I said, what's up? Somebody tell me what is up with that? Now, if you down by the rock, I'm gonna send a Christmas tree. You best get the head. Well, it's just position to cut me off. What's up with that? What's up with that? What's up with that? Ladies and gentlemen, a man who has played Broadway plays and every place in between, from one of the great showbiz.
When he jumps out of nowhere. Yeah.
It's the same.
Good for you.
I have to.
Feels like fruit, but sugar. Here's all.
Reminder to do a news journal tonight if we don't have any gatherings. I think everybody's just trying something. I'm gonna make Jared and Kimmy cry.
Go, power, look at you. Caitlin, why is Jared destroying y'all right now?
Okay, so he wants to go like half-ass pepperonis.
He's the one that said drama club, and he's the one that
Yeah,
started
he's
the
the one
drama.
who's having a fit.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, when are you not gonna go to a half-ass basketball game?
Jared
was talking about taking everyone
Yeah, we're drama club, and he's the one starting it.
Exactly. At least we like morons.